Welcome, everybody. I was going to do a set three market update, but I thought it would be better to start here on what I think is going on with the Star Wars Unlimited market. And it's a lesson in overprinting, it's a lesson in listening to the loudest voices in the room. And I'm not really sure if I have recommendations for Fantasy Flight games, nor would they care what a random guy on YouTube has to say. But we're looking at a case, which is 6 booster boxes of Twilight Republic for $408, which after shipping and after TCG's cut, which is about 10%, you're looking at nearly a 15% loss, 15 to 20%. I think stores get it for around 440. Maybe they can get it a little bit less, 435, but in general, people that are distributors are getting it for around $440. So this guy is selling it for $33, $34, free shipping. Shipping's $10. Basically, he's going to net less than $400 here, plus TCG's cut. So he's taking like an $80 loss on a case. And why is this happening? So set one was underprinted, and there was all these voices that said, we can't get the game, this is bad. Set two was kind of a lackluster set from a lot of kind of mechanic pieces, and I think maybe had the right print run, but people didn't buy it as much as maybe they bought set one, or at least the demand and sort of the staples that exist in set one. And then set three, I have no idea what the print run is, but I think it's safe to say it's near infinity, right? Like they are printing this as much as they possibly can. And I think it's unfortunate what's happening. And why are low prices bad, right? This one could make a case that $408 for 6 booster boxes is a tremendous value. You're getting cards into the hands of players. But what happened is stores saw with sets one and two this sort of weird allocation. So they just, maybe they wanted 100 boxes and they only got 10. So they put in this time for 200 boxes, and then they got all 200 of them because set three has been massively printed. So this stuff is flooding the market. And I think it's unfortunate because you're going to see less stores carry it. If stores, especially local game stores, are losing, 15 to 20%, which this is, one case, but I think right now, if we look down here, there are this guy has 30 cases, this guy has 11. I mean, basically $408, you can probably get like 150 cases for under 410. So this is an issue, and this is also on eBay. I'm not trying to pick on any sellers here, but I think everybody over ordered this and they were surprised. I mean, I also feel bad for the people that pre-ordered this stuff. I mean, if you were locked in a pre-order for 800, mid-September, you're like, oh, I really want this new set. You locked in a pre-order for $800, and then you're like, wait, why is it dropping so precipitously? It's only been out for a week, and it is well below MSRP. I think MSRP on a box is around like 140, and I think right now you can find a booster box for, I mean, we can actually just check that exactly. You can find a booster box for $65. So that is almost 50%. No, that is more than 50%. Math is hard. More than 50% below MSRP. So I think long term, what this does is it makes people less confident to pre-order stuff and less confident for those allocations to get filled. And why should you care about a store losing 15%? You could say it's not my problem. It's not my store. Why do I care? It's because less stores in the future are going to carry this. Less vendors are going to have it available. More people are going to think like, hey, I lost a couple $1,000s on Star Wars Unlimited. I thought it was going to be a huge moneymaker. I just don't want out. And what that's going to do long term is stymie local play. It's going to discourage stores from carrying it. I'm not as worried about the online stores. I think it was also pretty easy to get an Asmodee distribution, whatever login to get the game. But I am worried about like what this does broadly for people that are trying to, frankly, distribute this game to the public, and marketplaces like TCG and eBay are flooded with this stuff, and it distorts the price. Where now, I mean, I feel bad even if you bought this stuff, even if you bought a case like a week ago, right? Like I'm sitting here filming this on November 14th. Even if you bought it, last week, it was $50 more, right, on average. And this is just TCG. This is not the biggest marketplace for it, but it is a significant marketplace. And I think it'll continue to grow. But I also think it like makes decisions of whether this game can you just get stocked on TCG. Singles are, also extremely low. And I think it's not necessarily a death knell for the game. I'm not trying to be over dramatic here, but I think with set four, you're going to see an overcorrection where now they're going to print less, perhaps. There's going to be less pre-orders, and then people will be saying they can't find it again. But this is also the influence of scalpers on the modern TCG set, where they've kind of created a hyper collectability aspect, and that appeals to collectors. And then you have scalpers coming in to buy up, Target out of whatever Lorcana set one and try to flip it on the internet. And I don't know how to fix this. I'm not smart enough to fix this, but I think you're going to see this happening more and more. So this is with sealed, right? So in this is 6 booster boxes. That is so insane for like, this price for a brand new game that's a week out. But the singles market, I think, is maybe even worse. And it's also teaching people that, hey, if you want to stock this stuff, like you need to sell it immediately. I was going to move for legendaries. So just looking at legendaries here, right? So there's a few that are holding up value. So now there are 2 of them, which is probably the best card in the set. And then, you get like Darth Maul at $20. So your expected value on a booster box is kind of all hinging on like, can you get the hyperspace cards? Can you get one of 2 legendaries that's over $20, around $20, and then one other one that's basically $15. And everything else, kind of like the rares, are extremely low. I'm not sitting here saying that like accessibility is it is important that people can get the cards, but I think it's also important that a marketplace can be established, and you're not going to have people kind of like scared off by this. So let's look at rares real quick, because I think rares are even more grim than I think all the rares are like under $1. Let's see here. The hyper. I wish you could filter out hyperspace. It's annoying, but like it looks like maybe you have Luminara, who's a random character, for $3. And there's just not the same. Everyone's hinging on getting the showcases, which are also going to collapse in price. We go back just to this, like you have the Anakin at $335. I would not buy this at $335, right? Because you see what's happening, right? Like you see there's hype, and then people realize like, oh, there's a lot of these out there, because there's literally thousands of cases that stores are selling at a discount. So everyone's kind of in like hold mode, because you can get it maybe a little cheaper. And I don't think it's going to go much below this like 400 price point. I do think there are buyers. I do think this stuff is moving, but it impacts like the value of all this stuff, and you just feel foolish, right? If you spent $500 on an Anakin, like I wouldn't buy any of this stuff at this price. I think it's pretty crazy that these showcases are still so expensive, but I think there's so much seal that's being held out by stores that couldn't move it and are now selling it at a loss. So anyways, I'm not trying to sit here and cry for all the local game stores. I just think long term, this is not good for the game. And we're going to see some corrections with set 4. I'm glad they're not doing 4 sets in a year. This is a game that I like. This is a game that I think is super fun. This is a game I think is the best pack opening experience I've had in like a long time. I've opened a lot of packs. I think it's actually a really solid set. It's better than set 2. I think the issue is set 1 was so hyped. Set 2 was kind of meh. Set 3 is solid, but people might be dropping out of the game. People might just be like rethinking it. People see like the drop in prices. They're like, wait, why would I go to my local game store and spend literally double what I could get it for on TCG Player or eBay? And it's an offloading of product, and you don't want to get caught up in this fire sale mentality. But I think a lot of stores are going to be learning a lesson not to stock this stuff in the future, which is just not good for long-term accessibility. Get some deals on set 3. Open some boxes. I have to admit, I didn't order a case of this because I wanted to see what was going to happen with prices. And also, I feel like I had kind of a crappy experience with set 2, right? Like set 2 was kind of meh. I ended up really liking a lot of the mechanics. And like bounty is fine. Like it wasn't as cool as I think it could have been. And I think set three actually has some interesting stuff going on, and they're finally getting a little more experimental. And they just overprinted this one, and it shows in the prices. So that's my update here. I'm curious where all this stuff will go. I think down. I think sealed might have hit it sort of a bit of the bottom here. Might move another $10 to $15, but stores are sitting on hundreds and hundreds of boxes. I mean, literally hundreds of cases, and ultimately they want to get those off their balance sheets. So it's a fire sale right now in set three, 1 week after it comes out. So that's unfortunate for the long term accessibility of this game. All right, those are all my thoughts. I think I'd love to hear other people's thoughts. Like I said, go get some bargains, let them deal on some boxes right now, open stuff, play the game. That's what I'm doing. But I also think that buying sealed, I mean, at this price point, $400 for a case, buying sealed might be like the way to go. But at $600, probably not. 400, you might get a little bit of value there. You get some decent legendaries and some hyperspace foils. And I still think the collectibility of this game is a little wonky with essentially 4 variations of every card. But that's just my 2 cents. But thank you for hanging out, guys. I'll be back with more content on Star Wars Unlimited. I want to get back into it. I've just been so busy with life stuff. But love this game. Love the mechanics. I think set 3 was pretty cool. And I enjoyed playing in our pre-release. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Like, subscribe. I'll be back later. See you around.